Mike Scharfenberg, Game Plan You today, and welcome to another edition of Interview with Influencers. And as always, thank you for spending part of your day with us. We're so excited to have you here. Hope you're off to a fast start to the week. So before we bring out our very special guest, just a few housekeeping items. With the biggest one being make sure you're keeping an eye on Game Plan U's LinkedIn and Facebook page for this week, leading into next week, as big announcements coming, as we'll be dropping one by one press release for all of the sport tech startup founders that'll be participating in our inaugural Game Plan U Fall Founder Sprint competition. So these founders will, they vary from sport betting platforms to fan engagement, digital fan engagement, to the performance technology, in-stadium technology, esports. So all of that. And then for those not familiar with the sprint competition, it'll be a head-to-head bracket-style tournament matching founder versus founder. And the best part is the winners and who moves on. It's all in your hands. You vote. It's 5 days. Voting's open, closes Saturday, and then Sunday we release the updated standings. So super excited about that, and to bring to the light and to all of you the future of the sport tech industry. So keep an eye out on that. And without further ado, let's bring out our special guest. He's the founder and CEO of Ticket Time Machine. And let's give a virtual round of applause to Matt Wolff. Matt, welcome. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. How's it going? Good to be here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's going well. Another week, but crushing it and staying positive. I love it. So, I want to thank you again for taking the time to jump on the show. And, like we said before when we were chatting offline, been following what you've been doing with Ticket Time Machine, and very, very impressive. And especially recently also with what you're doing with the Learning LinkedIn series. Really, really powerful organic stuff that's helping out a lot of people. So we're going to dive into all of that, over the next half hour or so. But first, for the audience, let's give them a feel and a sense for you. So let's start and kind of take a step back. So you started, graduated the University of Florida, and you worked your way through corporate America with a bunch of different roles in sales and marketing. So walk us through that journey and how you got up to like pre-Ticket Time Machine days.
Yeah, absolutely. So I graduated from UF, and a mistake I had was I didn't have any internships, and I was starting from scratch in the job search, and I moved to South Florida, which is not a great area for business and corporate America if it's not sales. And I always thought I wanted to be in marketing and not in sales. And so I had a 3 or 4 jobs that really weren't much to talk about on a resume. And my dad always told me to go into sales. He's like, that's the only way you're going to make money, is going into sales. And I'm very calm and laid back and not pushy and genuine. And the stigma of sales, I just thought it wouldn't be for me. And finally, I just said, look, I'm going to do it. I ended up getting a job with a company called Worldwide Ticket Craft. They're a ticket printing company, and was there for about 6 or 7 years. Had a lot of fun learning about the ticketing world and getting my feet wet in sales. And I found out pretty quickly that I could be successful in it, doing it my way. I ended up leaving Worldwide Ticket Craft and ended up in the anti-money laundering world. I got a job with a company called World Compliance. A year later, they were bought out by LexisNexis, and I was doing anti-money laundering sales. I was there, had a lot of successful years there. And then one day, a couple of years ago, started Ticket Time Machine. Stories on my website, and I talk about it often, but I was at a Marlins baseball game. There was a no-hitter thrown. I had a mobile ticket. Everything's going digital and mobile. And the box office said, come to the box office if you want to print a ticket. I went up there. I said, I'd love to have this. This is great. Can you write Edinson Volquez no-hitter on the ticket? They said they couldn't. I know they can because I was in the industry for a long time. And so that's how Ticket Time Machine was started. And really, one of the things that I really am big on now is the use of the word can't versus won't. A lot of people use the word can't when they really mean I won't or don't want to. And so, I know they can do it. They just don't want to do it. And so we're happy to do that and partner with a lot of different people to help the fans get what they want, but also help generate revenue.
I love it. I love it. So you figured out what you want to do, and you worked your way up, and you found that little hole in the marketplace, and you really pursued your dream as a lifelong sports fan. So I absolutely love that. But now the contradicting side to that is the pivot, right? And having the courage to leave that cushy and good job in the corporate world. So can you talk a little bit about your mindset as you were going through that pivot? In the beginning, when you were doing Ticket Time Machine plus your corporate job, and then also when you said you made the move to pivot full time into Ticket Time Machine?
Yeah. So the first year I was just, doing the stuff you need to do to start a business, incorporating, putting a website, doing some research, having some conversations. And about a year ago, I started to do actual events. So I had customers, and I went to a music festival and had a booth there. Did a few other conventions, and as I'm starting to get further on, I realize, look, I can email people at night and on the weekends, and I can try and connect. But in order to really, give this the effort that it needs to and make it what I want it to be, I need to be full time. And so, end of last year, I had a conversation with my boss, and I said, look, the end is near. I have this idea. I'm going to start my own business. This is what I want to do. And, I'd love to give you guys as much notice as I can. Obviously, as I'm working it, it's still good to be able to have that paycheck, because you do need to have, it's hard to just go cold turkey and have nothing. You have to really set yourself up for that. And so we decided that April 1 would be my last day. I actually got married in February on Leap Day, and went on a honeymoon, came back, and we were quarantined since. And so April 1 was my last paycheck. And I said, look, I'm going to do this full time. And I turned my LinkedIn over. And that's another thing. Like, as I'm working at LexisNexis, I can't put Ticket Time Machine on there and start reaching out to people, because they're going to be like, okay, well, what is this? Who is this person? Why do they want to talk to me? Why should I connect with them? Because all of my connections were in a different world. I never really used LinkedIn that much. I kind of was just forwarding and posting for my company, but not me personally. And so that was a big thing as to going full time. April 1, I said, okay, that's it. I'm full time for Ticket Time Machine. I'm connecting. I had about 600 connections at the time. I'm now close to like 3,500, and they're relevant. Obviously, I got the LexisNexis background, but they're relevant people for the most part. And so that was a big decision for me. I can tell you this: aside from the loss of life and the people who have to close down the business, this has been really good for me personally, and for Ticket Time Machine, having the time to have these conversations with the people who probably couldn't have conversations with if I was, or not competing for events and running around, personally and professionally. I mean, events are my life. I'm always on the go and going to do things, and everything's such a rush. And so I've had time to focus on my business. It's been great. I'd do it again if I had that opportunity, and say, okay, April 1, I'm going to stop and go full time, and, take that chance. You bet on yourself. I think you always got to bet on yourself. You start hearing the stories in sports about the contracts that people have, and you really like to see when it's like, oh, I'm going to bet on myself instead of taking that automatic thing. And look, there's value in taking the automatic thing, especially when you're talking about millions and millions of dollars. But if you have the opportunity to say, I'll take a little bit less, but I'll take that chance and I'll take that shot, go ahead and do it all the time.
Yeah, you got to be smart. Definitely be smart about it. Know your situation, but go all in. If you physically, from a financial position, can do that, go all in. There's no purpose in going half in, right? You're not going to get to where you want to go there. So I absolutely love that. So speak a little bit now to adversity, and I'll let you kind of run with this wherever you want to go. But speak to a time in your career where you faced immense adversity, and how did you overcome that?
Well, when you're in sales, every day is you're facing adversity. I don't know what the numbers are, but it's what 9 out of 10 people are going to say no. And if you send out emails, even on a blast, they're talking about like 3%. So the numbers are low. You're getting a lot of no's, and it's tough. Everyone says not to take it personally, but I do take it personally. It doesn't stop me. You still have a goal, but just moving forward, I think that's the best advice, is to just do it, and to keep moving forward. And just because this thing didn't work out, or you lost that deal, or this person's not responding to you, I truly believe that it only takes one for a lot of different things. That could be one person, to be with the rest of your life, one job, when you're job searching, or one customer who can really change your life. And that's all it takes. And you just never know who that's going to be, or when they're going to come. So just be prepared, move forward, go all in, take the chance, and kind of figure it out on the way. I know people don't tell you that's a great plan. I don't have a whole elaborate plan on what's going to happen with Ticket Time Machine, but I know I'll be prepared when I need to be, and I'll do whatever I need to make it happen. And I'm going to be partnered with the right people, and I have a great network to support me. So all of those things I think are important. But we're going to face adversity every day. As I mentioned, the pandemic has been good for me, but it's also been challenging because I don't have a stream of customers coming in. It's got to be one here and one there, and you have to figure out a way to be able to do that and say, look, I don't need this to blow up in 3 months or 6 months. I know I have a long time to make this happen, and I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah, you just have to analyze each situation and then look for the positives and how you can react to that. I love that component, and you hit on it too, especially in sales. Like, you face adversity every day. 9 out of 10, right? Like you said, you're not going to end up closing. I mean, my first job in sales, I worked as membership consultant at a local gym. And I'll tell you, the cold calling that was fun, because 9 times out of 10, people don't leave a gym with a good experience. They had some issue, right? So, but I think that really taught me, and that was my lesson. And you got to have thick skin. It's not personal, but just always be looking for how you can help people, right? So if you had a bad experience, why was that experience bad? Let's see if I can make it better. And I think that's something that in our conversation that you've really embraced is not looking for benefits on your end initially, right? It's looking for how you can help people and build those genuine relationships and see where that goes. So I think that's a perfect segue into one of your newest ventures with the Learning LinkedIn series. So I know you got a big show coming up on the 28th, 1 p.m. Is that Eastern time?
Eastern, yeah.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern time on the 28th, on the do's and don'ts of LinkedIn. And there are a lot of them. We'll dive into a couple of them today. We won't give away too much, though. We want to save the rest for the show. But speak a little bit about the speaker series and how that got started. And for those that are going to be tuning into it, what should they expect?
Yeah, so the first thing I'll say is I am very lucky to be where I am today. And I wouldn't be where I am today with a lot of help from a lot of people, whether that's family, friends, coworkers. And so what I always want to do is, how can I help you? How can I help other people? I think it's the right thing to do when you can offer it, but obviously I think it's going to come back and help you, but it's just the right thing to do. So just a quick story. I told you this. Jill Haber, who's my partner and co-host on the Learning LinkedIn series, she's looking for work, and she had a bad day and went on a LinkedIn rant, and it went viral, and I saw it, and I reached out and said, hey, how can I help you? And she's like, we had a good conversation. I told her to connect here and maybe do this. And she started to highlight people every day who are looking for work, and she's looking for work herself. So we came up with this Learning LinkedIn and said, let's get a couple of panelists on there. We'll do some slides at the beginning just to give some pointers. We'll have the panelists talk about, what their thoughts are on the subject, and then we'll do some Q&A from the audience. And it worked out. It was very well received. I got a lot of people saying how helpful it was, and people who've shared it with others. And so we're going to continue to do this, helping people and really, really helping people. There's a lot of people who want to portray that they're helping people. We're actually doing it, and we're going to continue to do it as long as we can. And anyone who needs help, if I can help in any way, I'm happy to do it.
Well said. Well said. So in regards to LinkedIn, I know you mentioned, I know you and I could talk for hours about this, but I know you mentioned that, when you were transitioning into Ticket Time Machine, you really went all in on LinkedIn and really started to build that following. So can you speak a little bit to that and the importance of building that strong network, but it shouldn't be as focused on the numbers, but having it be that genuine network. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So in our first Learning LinkedIn, we talked a lot about networking, and one of the main things that we discuss is targeting, like not just clicking yes to everyone, but finding out who's in your industry. If you're looking for work, what type of job do you want? What type of company do you want to work for? Follow them, connect with the people who have the same type of job description that you want to, and interact with them. It's not just clicking like and writing, "Hey, great stuff." Really having trying to have a conversation, and I think people will respond to that, and be happy to have you as part of their network. And then posting content. Obviously, I post content that I think is relevant to the industry, sports and entertainment, which I'm passionate about, which is a big part of Ticket Time Machine. But if you post content that people enjoy, they'll share it, they'll connect with you, they'll interact with you. So it doesn't, not everything you have to do has to be trying to advance your company or you're looking for work. And I think people will want to be a part of your network, and they'll want to help you if you're likable and they feel like you're authentic. Then I think there are people who generally do want to help. And as I said, it only takes one, and you just never know. I'm big on immeasurable data, and I know people don't like to talk about it because it's immeasurable, but you just never know who's going to see. We talk about sports talk radio to relate it to sports. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Well, there's a lot of long-time listeners, never callers, and they might share your information or say, "Hey, did you hear what this person said, or did you see this?" And so you just never know. LinkedIn is very good right now. It's been good. I think there'll be a window where it won't be as good because people get back to being a lot busier and maybe not having as much time. So take advantage of it and take advantage of the people who are willing to take that time. I'm always going to be that way, but there are people who are like that now and might not be like that, say, beginning of next year.
I love that. I love it. And obviously time is a big thing, right? I mean, if you're running a company, your time's limited. But for those out there, it's take the time for every conversation that you physically can, because you never know who knows who or who knows what. So just take advantage of that full hand and just have organic conversations. And like you said, look for ways that you can help. And I guarantee, I promise it'll come back and you'll end up winning in the end. But winning together is much better there. So I love that. So let's pivot now a little bit to the career seekers looking to, that are looking for that first job, or that may have gotten let go and are looking to get back in whatever industry that they were in. So speak to some things that they could be doing right now, utilizing LinkedIn to help themselves get in that best position to get a job. Or get in front of the right people to get that job.
Yeah, I think the targeting is key. Find out who do you want to work for, what's your dream job, your dream company, your dream title, and just start following and connecting on there. A lot of people are going to be doing that. It's all about connections and who you know, but whoever you know might know 3 other people who they have to do. A little bit of everything. You got to use online when you can. Maybe go back to someone who you had interviewed with in the past, but you didn't get the job, and maybe that job, maybe positions are opening. A lot of positions are going to be opening in the next 6 to 8 months as everyone's let go or furloughed their staff, and now they got to find new people because the people who they furloughed might have moved on. And frankly, if you have an opportunity, you're going to have to do it. People can't just wait. for you to say, okay, we're ready to go again. So I would say target, get yourself visible on LinkedIn and ask. I mean, that's really the big, people don't ask enough. Ask for a referral, ask for a conversation, post on LinkedIn. I had a conversation with someone yesterday. We were brainstorming about how he can, maybe find work and who he should connect with. And I told him about Jill's story. It was, it was real. It was in the moment, but, post a woe is me story and ask, say, look, I'm having a tough time. I've been on a lot of interviews. I haven't heard from people. These people aren't responding, and just vent /ask. Obviously you got to do it in a polite way, but people resonate with those who are in that position and they're empathize with them. I know when I see something like that, I click connect almost every time if I think I can add value to their network and help them.
100%, 100%. I love what you said too, with just being known, right? Getting recognized, and I think that leads perfectly into my next point, and something I'm a huge advocate of, and that's brand. Whether it's your professional brand, your personal brand, it's just so important. If people don't know who you are, how are you going to how you think they're just going to offer you a job? That's not how it works. It's building that brand. And obviously, you being a CEO and founder, you've had to build, right? Ticket Time Machine brand, by the way, lovely logo. Absolutely love it. But speak a little bit now for those career seekers to building their professional brand. What are in your experience, what are some things that you've done to help build your professional brand, right? And what strategies do you recommend that they could take to help building their brand right now?
Yeah, to me, branding is everything. And I as I put on my Ticket Time Machine hat, everything to me is about Ticket Time Machine. I'm Ticket Time Machine, and Ticket Time Machine is me. And that's the way it is for the start. Orange and blue are my colors. I'm a huge Gator fan. If I'm not wearing Ticket Time Machine stuff, I'm wearing Gator stuff. And to me, it's just important to support your brand and keep pushing your brand forward and having your brand associated with positive memories and positive, just everything positive, because the negative stuff is going to hurt you a lot, and they're only going to think, what's that quote about, for every 3 times someone says something good about you, they're going to pay attention to the one person who doesn't. So that's just getting visibility. I try and get on and talk to as many people as I can, whether that's in a private conversation or a conversation like this. And everything really I do is about the Ticket Time Machine brand. And, I had a friend ask me, like, what are you going and doing all this stuff for? Like, you should be talking about tickets. And I said, well, it's all connected. If you want to talk to me, then we're going to talk about Ticket Time Machine. It's all going to be about getting visibility. So whether I'm here talking about, how to help job seekers, or I'm on a learning LinkedIn session, helping people, or I'm on a diversity conversation, which I have, Thursday, I'm on another race relations conversation, and, diversity and inclusion and social responsibility is huge for me. It's a platform that I want to raise and get louder with. It's all connected to me and Ticket Time Machine. And, I think someone who has that view about you should be doing this or that, I think they're missing the big picture. I think people are going to come to me to talk about a variety of topics. I don't want it to just be, souvenir tickets or commemorative tickets. I want them to come to me and want me to talk to their, whether it's their audience or maybe it's an event or join a panel here. I think it's just branding. I can't say enough about branding, whether it's personal or business. Everything I do, I have an iPad that's Ticket Time Machine. My cell phone has Ticket Time Machine on it. I have backpacks I give away as part of my Ticket Time Machine packs, because if they're wearing that backpack, everywhere they're walking, on the back of it says Ticket Time Machine, and hopefully someone will say, "Oh, what's that?" and look it up.
I couldn't have said it any better. And I love when you said you are Ticket Time Machine, because that just describes it so perfectly. And putting that in perspective for the career seekers, you are your career. If you look at your career, and I think I had a post on LinkedIn last week about this. If you look at your job or what you do as a profession, as a job, you don't have the right mindset. It's a career. You need to be invested in that career and build that and do things like you said, like go to a diversity and speak about diversity, speak on podcasts like this. All of that ties into your brand and bettering yourself and getting you in front of different groups of people and getting you to ultimately where you want to go. But you have to be fully invested in it.
Yeah, and that's easier for me because when you own your own company, and no one's going to tell you to go and do any work today.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I control my destiny fully. It's a little bit harder if you're working for someone because, there's limitations, but you still have to, you have to take that brand, whatever it is, and run with it. And the louder your brand is, even if it's you just pushing your company's brand, or maybe you're pushing other. I support so many brands out there, whatever I feel is brands and events, and I'm liking and forwarding, and I'm helping however I can, just the stuff that I believe in. And I think that's, it doesn't always have to be something that's helpful for me. There's a lot of one-way relationships, whether I'm going to help you and you can't help me, or you're helping me and I can't help you, or maybe we can work together. It's just all about supporting what you believe in and standing behind that. And, that's, we talked a little bit about the influencer. I think that influencers get a bad name, and some of it deservedly so. Like just paying someone to talk about your brand, like you don't use that brand, or you don't care, or you don't, we can't have a real discussion about it. They're just someone who's paying you to put your name on something. And I hope to never do that. I hope to have enough people that like me and like what I'm doing to just be able to have a conversation and to say, yeah, I'll connect you with them, or look, I'd love to be your to be part of the team. And so it's a strong belief of mine, and I hope to be able to stick to it, but always be branding instead of always be closing.
That's it. Well said. So again, I appreciate the time, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got to get back to work, but I always love to close with this question because right now, like we've hit on before, especially in the sport space, which is the core of our audience. It's not to sugarcoat it. It's very difficult. It's always been difficult to get in the industry, but even when it starts opening up, it's going to be 10 times as difficult. So a lot of those individuals right now, whether they're class of 2019, class of 2020, or unfortunately they were let go from the team or league that they worked for, you have time on your hands, right? A little extra time. So what are some of the things that you recommend that job seekers looking to get in the sport industry can be doing right now to help position themselves for down the line when the industry opens up and teams start hiring again?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. The first thing is you have to differentiate yourself. And so how do you do that? It's tough these days. Everyone is trying to, to get their name out there and trying to put themselves as different. At the end of the day, it's going to be who you are in your resume. But if you're in line with 3 or 4 other people and you have a chance to make an impression, I think that, you have to do something. I'll tell you a couple of things. I once heard a story of someone who mailed one of those baby sneakers to a job that they were looking for and said, I just want to get my foot in the door. I mean, stuff like that. You just got to get creative. Back in the day, I actually put together PowerPoints that I would send as a part of an application. And the issue was the PowerPoint was great. The issue was my resume was terrible. And it was hard to get responses on that. But so I did a PowerPoint and I put out some points. It's basically like a resume, but had a little fun with it. And I ended it with the top 5 reasons to hire Matt Wolff. And then I did a countdown, and then, it popped up a picture of me. So I think that's one of the things that you can do is just try and do something that's maybe outside the box. The other thing I would say is try and do something to expand your skill set. So we had some interns at Ticket Time Machine over the summer. And what I told them is I said, let's try and work on something that you can use moving forward that you're not really good at or don't have a lot of experience in. And because this is the time for you to take those chances. And it might not work out. You might not do well at it, but it's going to be useful to me and it'll be useful to you, because once you get in that job, it's just harder to start taking chances and doing things that you're not necessarily good at, or that's not your expertise. Or if you're a sales and marketing person, but you also can be good at graphics, let's just say, that's a leg up on someone else who's just focused on sales and marketing. So those are the things I think you can do to differentiate yourself. It's tough out there, like you said. It only takes one. Keep at it. I don't think you need to go full time looking for work. Put in the time to connect with people on LinkedIn, to apply to some jobs, to sort of hone your craft and whatever your skills are, and find that one job. It doesn't have to be your dream job tomorrow. You can work towards that. There could be a couple stops on the way, but go for what you want. And if you put the work in and you have the ability and the skill, I think you have a good chance of getting there.
Well said. I love that. I think, the approach that I've taken, and I stress to all the career seekers I speak with, is approach every day like you're training for a marathon, right? Like you have today to go out there and become the best possible, win the day and become the best asset you can be for when that opportunity presents itself and you have that interview, or you get in front of and network with a hiring manager that's, potentially looking to bring you on. So just keep looking to get better every day. But the biggest thing for me, besides for that, is something you said is try something new, be curious. One of my favorite phrases, and I know I beat it to death, but become uncomfortable or comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Put yourself in those situations. You may hate it and it may not be for you, but you're going to figure that out and you're going to learn skills that'll help you get there. Because if you don't do that, you're going to just stay in that same routine every day and just never grow to your full potential. So I absolutely love that you pointed that out. And it's funny, we're doing that similar with our interns. Ironically enough, we brought on 5 interns from the University of Florida and their athletic department.
Wow. Great.
So they started their own podcast, Next Up, and that's a platform for them to share their story, how they're overcoming adversity, just giving them a voice. Obviously at first it wasn't comfortable. They've never done anything like that before, but now they're starting to really get the hang of it. And figure out that they love doing that and they love being in front of people and having that mic. So it's just like you said, it's becoming comfortable being uncomfortable being uncomfortable. There it is. But I love that. So without further ado, again, I want to thank you for the time. But before I let you go, and I'll let you run with this however you want to go, but what would be your final thoughts? And it could be on anything we talked about, anything we haven't talked about, but what would those final thoughts be?
Yeah, so the final thoughts are, I try and be a better person every day and just help people. There's a lot of people who need help, whether it's a job or just you being there to listen to them. They're going through some stuff. Just be helpful. Just try and help other people. And if enough people help other people, the world will be a better place. Go vote on November 3rd. We're partnered with a organization called I Voted, and you can check out the I Voted Festival the night of the election. There's going to be about 500 different artists streaming music. It's going to be a great night of music celebrating our democracy. So go vote, but help people, and that's it. I'm here to help anyone who needs to. I'm about as accessible a person as you can find. I answer every single email and phone call that I get. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm even on TikTok, even though I only have a few videos there. But if you need something, ask. If I can't help you, there's a good chance I know someone who will. If you think that there's someone that I should be talking to, I'm always happy to talk to anyone. So that's the best advice I could do, is just help people. A lot of people need help, and I'm happy to do my part, because I wouldn't be sitting here today without a lot of help.
I love that. I think that's the theme of the podcast, really, is just help others, but make sure it's organic. Have their best interest in mind and just organically help them. And at the end of the day, it'll work out for both of you. So I absolutely love it. Matt, a big thanks again. Don't forget to check out Matt, the webinar series, Learning LinkedIn. That's October 28th, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then also, as I mentioned in the opener, be on the lookout this week on Game Plan U social channels as we start to announce the founders participating in the inaugural fall sprint competition. And As always, we thank you so much for your time. We look forward to connecting with you next week. So on behalf of the Game Plan U community, that's Matt. This is Mike. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Keep crushing it. Keep swinging, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thanks, Mike.